Good morning, love.
Hi, I'm Kim, the host of Good Morning Columbia podcast. Today I have with me my co host, Maria.
Hi, guys.
Okay, are you ready to rethink some of those happy hour choices? Today we're going to go deep into coffee and wine and how they might be affecting the brain as you age.
It's funny how coffee can get kind of a bad rep, and wine often seems like this health elixir.
So for that we have Olivia,
Hi, guys.
our science expert, and her colleague Regina from Columbia University.
Good morning, guys. The research we will look at today will surprise you.
Okay, what are we looking at?
This is this 2018 study from Switzerland that we're looking at. It was published in Nutrients Journal. The scientists followed 145 seniors for 3 years.
So during this time, the researchers tracked their cognitive brain power and asked them about their wine, coffee, and chocolate consumption habits.
Oh, interesting. Chocolate too?
Yes, so the scientists picked inside their brains using MRI scans to see if those habits were actually linked to any changes in their brains.
Oh, so no beating around the bush, looking right inside the brain.
So, what did they find?
Well, moderate coffee drinking was actually linked to better cognitive function over those 3 years.
Really?
Yes, especially for those people who stayed sharp throughout the study.
So, that morning cup of coffee or after lunch second coffee might be helping us to stay smart?
Keeping your brain humming along nicely as you age. That's so nice to know.
Exactly, but hold on, there is a twist.
Oh, no.
When it came to wine, even moderates amount were linked to a kind of less favorable damage in brain power over time.
What? Seriously? I thought a glass of red wine a day was supposed to be good for you.
That's what we hear all the time. It's a common belief, and there is so much research suggesting potential benefits.
But maybe it's still good, for your heart, at least moderate wine drinking.
Yes, but it's just a different kind of story when it comes to your brain.
Okay, so coffee is looking like a thumbs up here, right?
And maybe wine now is a thumbs down.
Possibly, again, for brain health. We're not talking about heart health here.
So, what about the chocolate?
Well, unfortunately, the scientists in this research study didn't find any statistically significant difference or connection between chocolate and brain power.
Well, it looks like those delicious antioxidants might not be the cognitive superheroes that we were hoping for.
So we've got these fascinating findings about how our brain work while drinking coffee and wine. But what was actually going on inside the brains of these coffee and wine drinkers?
Yeah, did the MRI scans actually reveal anything?
Oh, yes, they did. When the researchers looked at the brain scans of wine drinkers, they found an interesting connection.
More wine seems to be linked to less damage in the brain's white matter, specifically these tiny abnormalities called microvascular lesions.
Well, less damage sounds like a good thing, right?
Exactly, because these little lesions are often linked to aging.
And they really kind of mess up how information flows in the brain.
So drinking wine seems like the protection against that, right?
You could say that.
So it's protecting from damage, but not necessarily helping it in a positive way, right?
Okay, interesting. What else did they find in the wine drinkers' brains?
Okay, so for the people whose brains stayed sharp over time, wine was linked to a better blood flow in a really specific area, the left parietal white matter. And this specific area plays a big role in thinking and memory.
So even though wine might not be boosting brain power overall, it could be helping link the brains of those who are doing well, kind of nicely nourished and functioning smoothly.
That's right. Well, at least that's what this study suggests.
Now let's talk coffee. I want to know if my morning coffee helps me prevent some other damage in my brain.
Well, the scans of the moderate to heavy coffee drinkers showed something really similar to the wine drinkers, fewer of those tiny white matter lesions, especially in certain parts of the brain.
Oh, so hold on. Both wine and coffee seem to be linked to less of this age-related brain damage in the way people who are aging well cognitively.
Yep, that seems to be the case.
That's wonderful. It's like they're giving the brain a little extra armor against the wear and tear of time.
Yeah, great analogy, Maria.
That's super interesting. But before we go, like chugging coffee and wine, I'm guessing moderation is still here.
Oh, absolutely. Too much of anything can be a bad thing. Definitely applies to coffee and alcohol.
Yeah, you got to find how to use those benefits without tipping the scales in the dangerous territory.
It's important to remember that everybody's different. What this study really highlights, I think, is that our lifestyle choices have a big impact on our brains as we age.
So it's not just about genetics, right?
That's right. We have a say in this too.
Yeah, it seems like we actually have some control over our brains as we age. So before we wrap this up, I got to ask you all, has this research changed how you think about your own coffee and wine habits?
It's all about those little tweaks. They add up over time. Now, for our listeners who are ready to kind of dive deeper into this whole brain thing, we also have a video about it.
Yeah, we'll post it on our website.
Yes, and remember, it's always best to talk to your doctor before making any changes to your diet, especially when it comes to chocolate and alcohol.
Well, let's cheer to a lifetime of healthy brains and making choices that help them thrive.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us today as we deep dive into the world of coffee, wine, and brain health. It's been fascinating. And until next time, keep those brains buzzing. Good morning from Columbia.
Good morning.